Yeah, I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat. Yo, grew my hair and took the grill out. Think it's time to put it back in. Trying to get into that big house, turn the crib into the mansion. Needed something with that big bounce. You know I had to hit Jackson. Aaron Rodgers with the quick routes. I'm with the gang, we packing. We on the field at Lambo. Might peel in a Lambo. Running drills in my camo. They know what the M stand for. Still got fam in Hawaii, yeah. Couple fans in the lobby, yeah. Couple grand in my pocket, yeah. Couple grams of wasabi, yeah. Eye it up, no glasses. Light it up, no matches. Wife it up, no ratchets. Might turn my wife to an actress. And we gon' make a movie, no Kim K. Give a fuck about what your friends say. I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
I'm just sticking to the code, I keep it so G. She asked me what I smoke, I'm smoking OG. I don't fool with too many, only catch me 4 deep. Gotta stay away from snakes, swear these people so creep. I've been grinding for a minute, many labels so sleep. These rappers drop a song, be hot for about a week. I put Gucci on my toes, I keep some cold feet. I ain't paying for no hoes, you niggas know me. I'm about to body the beat. I keep me a hottie with me. She wanna for a fee. Give me that for free. Keep me some money on me. Smoking the gas key. You with me, sheesh. But need no cheap keef.
I got money on my phone and money on me. I got all these hoes, but still lonely. They been blowing on that strong, but still so weak. I've been higher than a drone, but still low-key. We been sitting on the floor, they in the nosebleeds. Lately I've been in control, they can't control me. Yeah, they about to get exposed for being so cheap. I've been sticking to the code and I ain't gon' cheat.
Yeah, head up in the clouds, though they saying I look stressed. I've been feeling down, pray to God that I'm up next. Remember when she blew me off, that's why I can't text. Now she call me petty, but I swear I can't forget. This ain't a test, now they saying that I ball like Jerry West. Coming back for what is mine, can't take no less. I said go and take a shot, so I need your best. And stop the threats, so nobody's into me. I don't got time, I'm not giving the energy. Too many people around me, I'm finicky. I do not mess with you, dog, you're not kidding me. You don't got way too close. I've been up at the top now, so they all wait for the landslide. I seen too many people that switched up, whose man's high. Through it all, I stay the same, I swear to God, I can't lie. Been down so damn low that I came up for my life. They talk way too much on the internet, it's not real life. I swear my fam waiting, I can't lose, and I'm still right. Still right, I swear that I'm working them up till like midnight. It's real life, I got a time and I'm coming to get mine. In time, I cannot lose and I'm coming right inside. I'm in my, yeah.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the road, here we go, yeah. time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we decided to go live a little bit early as Bitcoin is getting a drop to the downside, guys. And if you've been watching the show, you will know we have been looking for this push to the downside. And we are coming up to some very key levels of support. I want to break down the charts for you guys. I want to talk about where we rejected from and what I am looking for next here on price action. Are we going down to $110,000 to $112,000? Well, I'm not going to lie, guys. If we can't reclaim support here pretty quickly, I do think it is going to be the higher probability scenario as we've been looking at recently on the live stream. So I'm going to break down all the key levels. I'm going to talk about the key levels of resistance if we do come back up where we could put in a lower high. If you guys watched the live stream yesterday, you will know that we had some key levels that we were looking at. And sure enough, we have not made a lower low yet, but we have gotten the rejection from that key level of resistance. So it's going to be a good one, Mafia. And I do actually have some tax work that I have to do after this live stream, guys. So it's going to be a quick update for you guys. That's kind of part of the reason why I did go live early. We had some price action. I do have some stuff to do. So I'm going to try my best here not to go for a full 2 hours. But we're going to give you all the sauce, guys. We'll even take a look at some of the altcoins if we have time. Let's see. Shout out to Jesse in the chat. What is going on, man? Welcome in. We got Coin Hoover in the chat. We got FL Projectile in the chat. What is going on? The king of Bitcoin. Welcome in, bro. We got JP Yo says, rigged. It's all rigged. It's all rigged, guys. We got Aaron in the chat. What is going on, bro? Let's see who else we got. Tony. Hey, we got another Tony in the chat. Said, government ain't complaining 20% fee. Shout out to Tony. I'm not sure what that is in reference to, but let's see here, guys. We do have our mods in the chat. We got Darren Does Things in the chat. I actually was jumping in here, guys. Sorry about letting the intro. Tyler Durden, what is going on, guys? Show the mods some love in the chat if you have not already. We got everybody in the chat here on this kind of wonky start time. So without further ado, let's go ahead and you can't forget taxes. Shout out to Scar. Pay your taxes, guys. Pay your taxes. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. So here we are, guys. And as you know, right, long-term, kind of what we've been looking for here, guys, I am still bullish on Bitcoin, right? You might be saying to yourself, well, Frankie, it's dumping down to zero. How the heck could you possibly be bullish? Well, at the end of the day, guys, you know, we know that we could get this bigger retracement down, potentially targeting between $112,000 and $110,000. I'm going to cover this for like 2 seconds for a bullish retest here. We cover this every single day. I would not be super shocked here, guys, if we get that bigger drop to the downside. You are going to hear everybody call for the bear market if this happens. You can listen to them. You could not listen to them. I can't tell you what to do, but one thing I can tell you guys is I will not be in the camp that this is the bear market. You know, this is probably going to be a very scary dump, and kind of as we have talked about a lot in the past, guys, you know, it is the fact that there is still fear in the market, people saying that there's going to be no alt season. This kind of makes me more bullish than anything. You know, this does not scare me, and again, you know, if we did get this drop down from where we are right now, we see that continuation down. Hopefully we don't have to do it, but it is definitely in the cards. I'm going to show you guys exactly why. But, you know, this 4% to, I mean, it's not even really that bad, to be honest. Even if we go down to 8K, I mean, it's a 6% dump from where we are here. This is not something to worry about, in my own personal opinion, especially the drop that we're seeing right now, although not really that aggressive. Feels aggressive, guys. Feels aggressive on the lower time frames, but it's really not that bad. We are starting to get a little bit of a bounce here on the off of a local 786. I'm going to break down the local price action in a second, but just to kind of give you guys the idea. overall, we've been talking a lot about this break, the initial breakout before a bigger retest comes in to retest this support level, again, between $112 and $110,000 before finally retesting that scene of the crime and then hopefully sending it back off into new all-time highs. I'm not going to, guys, looking at this price action more and more every single day, it does remind me more of this range. We have compared this a million times to the current price action we're seeing right now. We have that large macro volume profile. We see the bing bong back and forth, but when we have money flow coming out, in this case, specifically in this particular instance, it was the daily money flow. This does indicate that you're going to have a higher probability of getting the break to the downside and coming to take out some of this liquidity down below. And it was a very similar situation because what were we coming down here to? Our previous range high to potentially put in a higher low before seeing that new higher high come in. And we did see that play out, obviously, as we cover every single day. But this reminds me so much of that range, guys. Not only have we been in this range for quite some time, but, you know, it's like almost... It'd be like impossible. It'd be really hard for me to pull this fractal, but it is really just eerily similar. Not that I would ever just trade based off this. What am I doing? Where is my bars pattern here? You know, not that I would ever trade based off this, but just to kind of show you guys, like, you know, when you have the money flow looking the way it is here, you kind of just range around. And, you know, if that money flow is coming out, which it is really coming out on the 4 hour, it kind of bing bonging around here. We talked about this yesterday. If we get a fake out back into the green, it may just be a lower high to continue having that 4 hour money flow generally trend to the downside. If we see this money flow cross back over into the red, guys, and we cannot reclaim these levels, I would say that the probability is higher that we are going to get that bigger retracement. Is it guaranteed? Absolutely not. Hopefully we don't have to deal with it, but it is very similar where you go above the value area high, back down to the low, and you kind of get stuck under this POC. And again, I will cover the local price action here in a minute, but you know, if this money flow crosses over, guys, it is going to make it a higher probability that this range breaks to the downside rather than to the upside, right? We do technically money flows in the red. It's kind of been bing-bonging around here, guys. Market Cipher on the lower time frames. I was talking to the premium Discord about this earlier and last night. On the lower time frames, guys, Market Cipher B is super chopped up. This does not mean Market Cipher is not good. It's just when you're in a choppy situation like this, you will see money flow chop around. So it is a little bit hard to call these short-term moves, but just keep that in mind, right? Even the daily money flow has tried to come back up into the green. Is this going to be just a continuation, just like on the 4 hour? Is it a fake out back up for another lower high to continue that trend down? Well, we'll have to monitor that as it develops. But if this money flow crosses into the red, especially on the daily, guys, again, looks almost identical to this larger range that we had down here before we got that bigger drop down. Obviously, to a little bit less of less severe. I wouldn't necessarily expect to break down, say 18% from the value area low. This would probably result more in coming down here to retest these highs. A 6% move, right? We can endure that, I think. But I still have not changed my bullish sentiment here, guys. This is why I cover this every day. Like, ever since we started this range, it's like, hey, if we get this bigger pullback, guys, I'm not getting worried, right? And obviously, we have the rate cuts and stuff that could potentially be coming down the line. We'll have to assess that when we get closer. But at the end of the day, it does seem like we are right on time here, guys. And I'm going to stick with my bullish sentiment here. And just keep in mind, that is still going to remain true, even if we get that bigger pullback. So don't get worried if it's like, oh my God, we have a bullish sentiment, but we're still coming down. What the heck is going on? I thought we were bullish. This is still an opportunity to bounce. So I just want to make that very clear before we jump into these lower time frames, because I am about to talk about some lower levels here and a little bit more of bearish signals that we're looking at. But just keep in mind, long term, this does not make me worried at all. Once we start breaking down some other key levels, then maybe we can start to get a little bit more worried. But right now, it does look pretty good. We still have our 2-day money flow thick in the green here. We knew that 2-day red dot was going to cool us off. And as long as we can keep that money flow in the green, right, we are just looking for ebbs or flows to the downside for higher lows and higher highs. And we'll assess that price action as we come down into the key levels. And with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into the local price action. So obviously, guys, we did get this drop from the exact level that we looked at yesterday. And to be honest here, last night I was looking at this price action, guys, and we were coming up here, putting in that 15-minute bearish divergence into the golden pocket 786. Why is this such a key level of resistance? Why were we even paying attention to this level? Well, when we look for lower highs and lower lows, what are we going to be watching out for? We're going to be watching out for those golden pocket 786 retracements. We had our high here above the value area high. We get accepted back into the range, push down to the POC. We get another little retracement up, but if we're looking for that lower high, we were looking right here at that golden pocket 786. The lower high indeed does come in. We get another push, breaking structure to the downside, as you would expect, into the value area low. We had a little scalp long here that ran up into the POC in the premium Discord. But what happened here? We had money flow coming out, so we were being very careful of lower highs and another lower low to be made, which we saw happen yesterday, as you would expect. Where did that lower high come in at? It came in right at that golden pocket, 786 retracement level, as you would expect. Pulled from the high to the low here. Where did we put that in? Right in. Come on, get rid of these brushes real quick. There we go. Bada boom, bada bing, bada boom. Whoops. I'll just fix that later. But what do? We came in, we tapped that golden pocket, got the break of the low, and then what do we reject again? Well, if we pull our fib from the high, or the lower high, I should say, to the low, we kind of got accepted back inside this golden pocket 786 for a drop back to the downside. But really the Fibonacci level that we were looking at yesterday was sitting up here, right? And this is also the full, let's pull this from the high to the low, right? Also pulled from the actual high. Come on, snap to that wick. There we go. We have the full fib from the not the all-time high, but the previous swing high all the way to the low that we made yesterday. And where's our golden pocket 786, guys? This is why we look at this level. 786, golden pocket, key resistance, potential rejection, and what happens? We push up into that level. We put in those 15-minute bear divs, and I was so tempted to take a short position up here yesterday, but I was about to go to sleep. And market Cypher B was super chopped up, if I'm being honest, right? Actually, what I was looking at were these 15-minute bullish, bearish divergences into the golden pocket. I was letting the Discord know, like, hey, guys, although we have 15-minute bear divs into the golden pocket, this is typically where I would be looking for a short position. But when we start to look at time frames like the 30-minute, right, we had the money flow crossing back into the green. We also had an 8-hour green dot printing, which is, so like I said, super, super choppy here for the short term on market Cypher. You have the green dot on the 8-hour, the 30-minute money flow crossing into the green. So I sat out on that position. What happens? It wound up being the right decision. We did get that last little push to the upside, but unfortunately, this happened at 3 a.m., so I did not take that position, but we did get that rejection for that lower high, which could potentially indicate, guys, that we are going to continue this downtrend. And again, looking at our 4-hour money flow, continuing into the red here, we also did confirm a blood diamond here on the 4-hour as well. Another thing we were looking at in the premium Discord, and what happens shortly after we get the massive dump. I wouldn't say massive dump, but we get the big dump down to about the value area low. And right now, guys, we are losing that value area low. If we cannot reclaim this, my sentiment remains the same here, that bigger pullback could be in store, dropping us down not directly to 112 to 110K. That would be the longer term target, but we do also have the CME gap sitting down at about $114,000. So this would be the next real level, because if we are going to put in this lower high, we could potentially come back down and crack this low right here, which could bring us back into these single prints, pushing us into that key level of support where we have the CME gap as well as a 786 Fibonacci retracement, which I believe is actually in this folder. Where is the... Right here, right? So you have the 786, you have the CME gap. This does sit between about 114,143 and 113,215. This is still the next biggest level to the downside, and if we cannot reclaim this value area low, and to be honest, right, what were we looking at yesterday on the live stream? We were talking about, well, hey, if we are going to reject some levels here, there were multiple levels that we could have rejected. We don't know if you're going to reject the super local Fibonacci retracements. Let me come on down to a lower time frame here so it's a little more tangible. But you know, we have the high put in here, right? You have the low. You start to bounce to the upside. The first Fibonacci retracement we were looking at was in confluence with the value area low. And then once we broke back above this 786, we looked for that push into the POC, which again brought us into the bigger Fibonacci retracement, which was kind of the last level to reject from. And what happens? We get that rejection, and we are now starting to lose this value area low. So right now, guys, I would say, and I want to talk about where we bounced from yesterday as well. You can see here that we did bounce off the 786. What does this mean? Well, this kind of makes this the line in the sand for me personally to look for the bigger drop to start, right? If we come back down to the 786, we've already bounced off this level. If we lose this, guys, I am pretty much looking down towards $114,000, and eventually that could end up bringing us down to that $112,000 to $110,000 level. And that's my sentiment. It was my sentiment yesterday, the day before, and as soon as that money flow was coming out, we knew this was going to be the higher probability scenario. We were looking for the bigger dump yesterday, and maybe we are going to see that happen. And I just like pointing out, you know, where those actual dumps happen, because we've been covering, you know, this is hilariously enough, guys, like this is so textbook. High, low, lower high on the Fibonacci retracement, like all these, you know, this trend is just continuing to the downside, like in the most perfect manner possible. And sometimes when I see this, I'm like, is it really going to just reject this perfect lower high again? And it just wound up being the situation. So obviously, you know, my bias is still for, you know, to have my eyes open towards those lower lower targets. I will talk about an opportunity to potentially come back up here, and just like we did yesterday, if we were able to hold this POC, we have the liquidity sitting up above $120,000. That could be something that we see, but I would say, as far as money flow goes right now, especially with that 4-hour, oh, man, that 4-hour cross is over, guys. Just in general, the money flow is always going to indicate the longer-term trend. If that money flow crosses into the red, I think we're still in store for that bigger pullback. In order to see that not happen, if you are hoping for a rip to the upside, and, I'm going to pull up here the liquidation heat maps real quick. Let me load them up. My computer actually blue screened earlier today, so I got to reload everything. But let me come on into the chat. Shout out to Brillo, says, I feel like your tone when you talk about movements down is more serious or low than when you talk about the moves to the upside. It depends, right? If I'm in a really saucy short position, sometimes I get excited about the dumps, which sometimes upsets people because they're like, why is this guy so upset that we're dumping? And it's like, well, we're just making money on the way down. But yeah, you got to keep it nice and firm. You got to keep it serious when we're going down, guys. We're gonna have to add some thunder sound effects to the to the stream deck here. But let me just pull up this liquidation heat map real quick for you guys so I can show you where the liquidity is sitting. We all know. I mean, I have it marked out here on the chart. There is liquidity sitting above 120K. A lot of it does lead to about 120,500. But we do technically have liquidity leading all the way up to about 121.5. So there is liquidity sitting above these highs, and we always talk about, sometimes not only are we just looking for the wick highs for liquidity, right? But you have liquidity above this high, and they also have liquidity above this high, right? So pretty much the way I look at this, right, is that if you draw the trend line, let me go ahead and put this, right? So, above all these highs, we have liquidations, right? So if we did get a push above this value area low, and we did get a bounce back above the POC, and we go to take out that liquidity, Bitcoin might want to come up and sweep all that, right? Now, shorts up here are going to be pretty difficult, in my opinion, right? Because it's going to be a very squeezy environment. I will be interested in taking shots at short positions here, but I do expect that, as I was talking to the premium Discord, I do expect it to be a pretty difficult situation. So, and we'll see what happens if we do get, the reclaim here, push back up towards the POC. I am still just going to view this as a volume profile, as I always do, but with the bias on money flow being that, if we can't reclaim here, or even if we do kind of sneak back into that profile like we looked yesterday, right, like we could even potentially come back up and, reject this lower high here on the POC again. And if I bring up that previous price action here on the macro profile here, you guys can see, right, like we come down, we start losing the POC, right? Boom, you come down, you come back into the profile, but what happens? You just wind up rejecting, I believe it was this golden pocket 786 retracement, and you get the lower high perfectly within that zone to do what? Put in a lower low, cracking structure to the downside. And why was this the bias here? Well, money flow was in the red. When you look at the daily, it's like, well, hey, you have money flow cruising to the downside, so at that point, any bounce has to be looked at as lackluster for a lower high and a lower low to come. Same thing with this bounce as well, lower high, lower low. So it is a similar situation, just on a little bit of a smaller time frame, right? If that 4-hour money flow crosses into the red, I will be viewing and being very careful with any kind of retracements to the upside to be lower highs and lower lows. So don't be tricked. I would say, like, it's kind of a difficult situation because when you get above the value area low, we are generally expecting a push into the POC, and then you can look for the POC flip into the value area high to go sweep that liquidity. But money flow, because of the way money flow looks, right, you have to be aware of those lackluster retracements, lower highs and lower lows, just like we've been looking at this entire time. So that's pretty much what I'm looking at, guys. I am still just simply waiting for those key levels. Now, I did catch a little bit of a, it's like hilarious. I'm like on a call trying to catch a short position. And I did catch a very, very small starter short position here. It's up about $500 right now. I'm not logged in right now. My computer blue screened. But I am holding a little bit of a short position. But as you guys know, right, the big level to look at was up here. I am not personally short from that beautiful level, right? I actually caught in on this little lower high. I caught that little short position. It is playing out a little bit, but if we do push back up, I may look to add to that position. But just in general, for the bigger trades, right, my main trades, like I said, this is a very small starter position. But if we did come back up, right, The next big areas I'm watching are going to be the value area high at 119.5, and then if we can squeak above that, I will be looking for shorts here, just as we do on the volume profiles. If we wind up filling that range in full, just like up here, we deviate above the high. There's no guarantee we take that liquidity. I would personally be expecting it because we know liquidity acts as a magnet. But if I did get confirmations up here, this is an honorable mention resistance level at $119,528, and then if we can squeak up there, right, we can start to deal with all this liquidity, which is honestly going to be a very difficult situation to look for shorts. I will be doing it, but it will be very, very difficult, and I would not be shocked if I get stopped out on a few of them. But with that being said, biggest levels of resistance still remain the same, and the biggest levels of support also still remain the same. I will take this golden pocket off the chart because we've already bounced off of it, obviously, over the weekend where we caught that beautiful long position to fill the profile. But at this point, right, like if we break this 786, this is the line in the sand for me. We break 116K, guys. I am going to look. Sure, you have the golden pocket. It's already tapped, though, so I'm not paying as much attention to that. I will simply be looking down towards that $114,000 CME gap. And then, maybe we get confirmations down there, guys. But again, it's going to depend on what money flow looks like, right? If we come on down there and the daily money flow is crossing into the red, I will simply be looking for lackluster retracements, lower highs, and lower lows to eventually come down to that bigger target. Hopefully, we don't have to come down there, right? But until we get down to these levels and assess price action and money flow, I won't know what the probabilities of continuing down are. If it looks really good here, I may look to take a swing long, but I don't know. My gut, right? Never trade off your gut, but, if I had to make a guess, right, I would say that if we do come down there, money flow will probably be coming out, and I probably will have a bias of coming down to those next key levels. So, yeah, just kind of waiting to see if we can work out this range, guys. Just be very, very careful. Like money flow, even here on the 2-hour money flows crossing over into the red, come up to some of the higher time frames, 8-hour money flow also crossing over into the red. We have a red dot printing. 30-minute money flow in the red as well. So, yeah, I would have to say my general medium-term bias is the same as yesterday to look for that continuation down. We were careful about that rejection at this level. We got it, and I'm going to keep that exact same sentiment. And then if I come up, right, if we wind up getting the push up, no problemo. I am still holding longs from lower, and then we can just assess those next key resistance levels. Excuse me. Let's see. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin said, tell us, Frankie, what's your legendary entry model? Don't hold out on us now. Shout out to the King of Bitcoin. I don't know if you're talking about, like, if we come into the next key levels of support, what I'll be looking for. It's a little hard to call what I'll exactly be looking for down here. Sometimes it's easy. Like, in the premium Discord, I will say, like, hey, guys, if we come down here, these are the confirmations I want to see. But right now, we're pretty far away. It's hard to front-run those confirmations. So I would say there's, like, no real, unless we get a liquidity sweep of this low right here. Maybe we come down, sweep into the CME gap, 786. You could potentially look for an SFP. This would be like, if you hit the 786, this would be a pretty big wick, 1.4%. It's hard to say, right? It would have to be a higher time frame SFP if we're going to look for a big wick like that. So I'll have to assess the situation as we get down there. It's kind of impossible to predict. But what we can try to front run is the direction. And I would say, just look at the money flow, guys. What is this money flow doing? It's coming out, right? If we want a I would say this. If you're looking for a massive rip up, if we're going to see like a crazy rip to the upside, let's say we just reclaim and we're going to send it to new all-time highs, we're kind of hoping that you're betting against the money flow, you're betting against the TA, which is fine, right? I hope that doesn't, I hope we get the TA invalidated here and we can just rip back to the upside. But, we have to, just like yesterday, keep that bias in mind. Even yesterday during the FOMC stream, we were looking at the charts. We saw the money flow coming out. Our bias was to the downside. What happens on FOMC? Big old dumpski to the downside. But the reason this 786 is going to be that key level is because, if we're going to put in a higher low locally here, well, it's from this low to this high. If we're going to put in that higher low, this was that last level that we would have been able to bounce off of, right? So if we break this, I am very likely, or not very likely, but I am going to say it's very probable to come down back to this bigger level of support. Hopefully we just wake up tomorrow and we're cooking to the upside, which again, we're still not technically out of the woods because we still have some key resistance and liquidity up here. Maybe it wants to sweep that upper liquidity first, but I'm just sitting on my hands waiting for the key levels. We got the levels up here. Again, like very specifically, the liquidity, golden pocket. We also have the, which is tapped, by the way, but we do have the daily MPOC up here as well. So I would say 120,000 up to about 120,500 would be like the first local zone, and then above that, we do have some liquidity leading up to the 786. Doorway to higher prices or all-time all-time highs would be the 786. This remains the same, $121,434. Hop on top of that 786, stick it as support, send it to new all-time highs, in my opinion, right? You do have the daily MPOC up here at about 122.7. It's a low-tick NPOC, so I'm not really paying that much attention to it, as I've explained in the past. So, yeah, we'll see. If we come up here, we'll assess the situation, see if we can find a new short position, or if it's more likely to squeeze to the upside, I will just hold my longs from lower. If we get the short setups, we'll take it in the premium Discord. But right now, guys, we are potentially losing this range. You can even see, like, can't get back above this low. Could be a bearish retest for a continuation down. And money flow is for sure pointing in that direction. Hopefully it's wrong. Money flow is very rarely wrong, but I have a, I'm not going to lie, it has been a long time since it's been wrong. So, maybe it's due to be wrong. It's kind of just like I wouldn't go based off of that. We always have to take the technical analysis at face value, right? So if you want that big rip up into new all-time highs, you are betting. Just understand you are betting against the money flow. You are betting against the TA. Does that mean it's impossible? No. Does it mean it's a lower probability? Yes. All right, let's see. Who can argue with an all-time high? Shout out to Tony. Yeah, I would not argue for against an all-time high. If we want to just kind of wrap this up right now and send it to the upside, I'd be happy. But it is going against the TA. All right, shout out to Brandon. Says, love the insight. Thank you, man. Gotta head out. Shout out to Brandon. No problemo. We'll see you on the next one, man. We'll be here tomorrow at the same time, but we will start at our normal time of 5:45. All right, let's see. What do you think about ICP and Beam, Aether? Yeah, we'll try to. I'm going to take a look at some of the altcoins as well. Don't you worry. Go down to the 1 minute time frame and second chart movement. We could go ahead and pull up that 1 second chart real quick. Oh my God, this is so much more exciting to watch. It's like, oh my God, guys, we're ripping, we're pumping. Let's go. It's like a 0.001% move, but let's go. We're pumping. All right, let's see here. Thanks for the TA. Shout out to Isuki. Oh, my God, it's going to $1 million, guys. Let's get it. Solana, yes, I'm going to take a look at Solana. I'll take a look at Ethereum, and then we'll jump into Solana. Wouldn't the money flow on the 12-hour and 18-hour throw you off a bit for a bounce up? Shout out to Al Jr. Great question. Now, when we take a look at the 12-hour here, obviously money flow is in the green. I mean, I would actually argue. I mean, I wouldn't argue, but if you actually look here, right, it is technically trending to the downside. This is not, like, super worrisome, in my opinion, right, but you do have a high. You have a lower high. You have another lower high, right? Fresh 12-hour red dot. 1 hour money flow in the red, right? Also, your 2 hour money flow in the red. So, you do have the 16 and 12-hour money flow still in the green here, but this is longer term, right? This is a longer term. This is a higher time frame, right? So 4 hour, if that 4 hour crosses over into the red, that is probably going to call a continuation of the downside before it's going to show up on the 12 or 16 hour. So I am not looking, when I'm looking for like low time frame scalp trades, I am not really paying as much attention to the high time frame money flow. I'm only paying attention to the high time frame money flow for the overall longer term continuation of price. If that makes sense. Shout out to Al Jr. Hopefully that makes sense for you. Let's see. Shout out to Fractal says, I shorted last night and got stopped out 3 times. If I wouldn't have used a stop loss, I would have been in profit at the moment. Shout out to Fractal. Don't let that creep into your psychology, brother. That is something I used to fall victim to a lot. I'd be like, man, if I just didn't have a stop loss on this, I would have absolutely been in profit. But just understand that all it takes is one trade to go against you to get you liquidated. That makes using a stop. You can get, let's say you get stopped out of 3 trades, right? And you take a small loss, small loss, small loss. You only need like 1 trade to play out to make up for those losses plus some. But if you start getting in the habit of not using a stop loss, you're risking way too much. And then, if price, winds up not going your way and you get liquidated one time. This is like one of the fastest ways to blow up your account. So I know that feeling, bro. I used to fall victim to this all the time. It is always going to be better to get stopped out for small losses multiple times than to just like look, because this is the thing, right? You'll be in this position where you're thinking this to yourself and you're just going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to use a stop loss. I promise that will never be a long-term profitable strategy. So try to fight that if that's the feeling that you're getting. But even if you could feel that, but just don't let it, creep into your actual actions, right? Don't actually trade based off that feeling, right? So yeah, I used to fall victim to that a lot, and then I wouldn't run stop losses. I get liquidated 2 times, my entire account would be blown up, and I'd have to refill it, right? So be very careful with that. But I totally get that feeling. That's happened to me a million times. Let's see. I'm getting a better understanding of money flow on Market Cipher B. Shout out to Mikal. Shout out to you, man. Yeah, I mean, money flow is one of the best ways to identify direction. Like, this was one of the big reasons why we were looking for the drop to the downside yesterday. Excuse me. We were getting the where are we at? Right, we have money flow crossing over into the red. Where are we? What is today? The 31st, right? So yeah, the 30th, right? We had the money flow coming out here on the 15-minute. We had a 4-hour, 15-minute Market Cipher B strategy. That money flow crosses over into the 15-minute, or on the 15-minute with that 4-hour red dot, and that 15-minute money flow crossover, as per usual, does call the dump right before the bigger move happens, right? So yeah, money flow, especially with the Market Cipher B 116 strategies. Look at that little bearish retest here. Oh man, this is yeah. I don't know, guys. This is the level. 116K. We lose this, I would be looking for more downside. So there we go. That's what I'm looking at. And I would actually prefer another pushback up so I can add to my short position because, like I said, I literally, like, it's so funny. Like, people probably think I'm crazy. Like, I'll be on a call. So I've been in doctor's offices, at doctor's appointments, like, on my phone. They're like, listen, Frankie, you got a... I don't know, whatever. I forget what I was getting, like blood work done, and I'm just like on my phone. I'm like, yeah, but my alerts are going off, bro. I'm trying to get into a position. So it was like basically what happened today. So I did get a starter position. It's a very small position. So if we come down, I'm covered on a short. It's not the biggest position, but I'd rather be somewhat exposed than not. I just wish this happened, before, right before I was going to bed. We had these 15-minute bear divs. And it wound up being a good decision not to short, right? Because we did come up again, but sure enough, right, that golden pocket 786 wound up being the area to get the dump from. So there we go, the push to the downside, man. Oh, my God. And there we go, right? TA is not just astrology for crypto bros, guys. It winds up playing out here. So, all right, let's see. V-shaped recovery at 114K liquidity sweep and CME gap close. Then we shoot to 120. Definitely a possibility. Yeah, shout out to Skizzle says, Frankie, what's up? Now it's time to say hello to 114 finally. Yeah, we've been talking about that level for so long, right? We've been talking about this level ever since we started this range. We were talking about this golden pocket, waiting for that level patiently, bang-bonging around, scalping in this range. We finally got the drop down, took that long in the premium Discord, ripped right back up to the value area high. Perfect rejection here. But we have been keeping our eye on this $114,000 CME gap for forever, right? And I know sometimes people are like, this guy's been talking about 114K forever. It's like, it's never going to get hit just like this level, but eventually you do wind up coming down and hitting those levels. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts, guys. Like, to be honest, my sentiment remains exactly the same as yesterday. We're just seeing that continuation down and getting the rejection right from where we were looking at yesterday. So if you watched yesterday's live stream, hopefully that was a very good learning opportunity for you to understand that those golden pocket 786s are the big levels that you're looking for those rejections at. So yeah, I mean, unless we're able to scoot up here, see money flow just fake out, I would still remain a little bit more bearish on the bias. That doesn't mean that I'm just going to be like, oh my God, every move up is always going to get rejected, right? If something changes on the charts, I will. And again, I am holding my longs from lower, so I'm totally covered on that end of the trade. But yeah, I mean, we would need a fake out on money flow to send this thing into all-time highs at this point, right? Even the daily money flow, right? Daily money flow still kind of, potentially rolling over here. So yeah, that's a difficult situation. Just kind of waiting for the bigger levels. Sometimes you got to be somewhat patient here. I mean, I am holding some trades here, but yeah, I mean, I would still say this is the bigger level and this is the bigger level. If we bounce locally, it's whatever. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at here, guys. Let's see. Shout out to Ramirez wants to see Syrup. I will try to take a look at Syrup. And we got Jay Smith in the chat. What is going on, man? Thank you for the super chat. He says, Ondo, please, Frankie. I forgot my stop loss. Oh, no. Shout out to Jay Smith. It happens to the best of us. Which one is more probable for a bounce? Shout out to Troll Gamer, 114 or 111K. I would say it's That's not really how I trade, right? It's not like it would depend, right? If we get down to 114K, if it looks really good here, it's going to be a high probability bounce, right? If we get down here and the charts do not call for the bounce, if I do not get entry triggers down here, it is going to be a low probability bounce probability, or low probability chance for a bounce. But it's impossible to call that, right, until we come into this level, right? So it's an if this, then that statement. Trading is a game of trapping, not a game of just jumping into random trades. So, if we come down here and we get the entry confirmations that we're going to be looking for, right, then we look to take the trade back to the upside. If we come down here and we do not get the entry confirmations, then we do not take the trade and we anticipate lower. And it doesn't mean that you can't take any kind of long down here. If you see low time frame entry confirmations, maybe you can look for a scalp. But if the higher time frames are having money flow coming out, indicating a lower high and a lower low, you would just identify that as a little bit of a scalp long rather than a swing long up to all-time highs. But chances are, if we're going to get a bounce here to new all-time highs, the charts will be able to tell us that, but it's impossible to say until we get down to that level, right? If it looks good down here, like we're going to bounce into new all-time highs, maybe we don't have to see 112K, 111K, 110K. But again, we have to wait for that level to come in. But I would say here, guys, I mean, we are right on time for what we have been expecting here for the breakdown of this range. And another thing we've been looking at, right, like I said earlier in the stream, we've been comparing it kind of to a similar situation back here where we have money flow coming out, right? You have a big money flow wave as you're bing-bonging around at these higher prices. You lose the range, money flows in the red, you're looking for this money flow coming out makes it, a lot of people say, Frankie, I get the volume profiles. I've been snapping these things from the low to the high, from the high to the low, from the low to the high, but how do I know whether this is going to break up or down or up? I'm like directionally dyslexic there. But what you would look at to anticipate whether this is going to break up or down is money flow. What is your daily money flow doing? It's coming out. That means that there's a higher probability of this breaking down than up. And what do we have at our current situation right now? Well, very simply put, come on down to a lower time frame like the 4 hour. Come on. What do we have, right? We have bing bong, big money flow wave in the 4 hour. As we come down here, money flow is coming out. That indicates that it's going to be a higher probability that you break down rather than up. Does it mean it's impossible to break up? No. Right? Nothing is 100% probable in trading. So we can be aware of that, right? In which we are, right? If we come back up here and we push up, we just know we have our next levels of resistance. And again, I will hold the longs from lower. I'm actually long from lower than this, but actually no. Yes. But that's kind of how we do it, right? If money flow is coming out here, the bias has to be for a move to the downside. It doesn't mean it's guaranteed, but it does make it the higher probability. So there you go, right? And just remember, we always compare this to previous price action. Like this will, price action's fractal, right? Like the signals that you see in a big range like this on the daily money flow is going to be very similar if you see the same formation on something like a 4 hour. Does that make sense? And the reason for that is money flow indicates the overall direction and trend of price, not the ups and downs, right? Some people might see this if they're new to the charts. They might be sitting here being like, I don't know, Frankie, like we're pumping. Isn't this bullish? It's like, well, hey, you got a little bit of a green dot here, right? It's really hard to see that green dot. It's like right here. You can't really see it, but you have the green dot, right? And it's like, well, that is indicating an ebb or flow to the upside. But when you have money flow coming out, the chances are lower high, lower low, breaking structure to the downside like we saw. Same thing here. Oh, but we're bouncing. Isn't that bullish? Well, money flow is coming out, especially on the 4 hour. Lower high, lower low is more likely. Oh, but we're bouncing to the upside. It's like, well, hey, you still have your higher time frame money flow coming out, meaning higher, lower high, lower low is more likely. We have not really put in that lower low just yet, but that's the overall anticipation. That's the difference between the green dots and the money flow. The money flow indicates the direction, and the green dots indicate the ebbs and flows. And if I were to draw this out for you guys in a very simple way, right? Green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, red dot, green dot, right? That is what the red and green dots indicate. The money flow, right? Let's say that's your 0 line and money flow is crossing into the green. Your money flow indicates the overall trend. Doesn't mean you can't get pullbacks, right? So if we come down to $114,000, right? Let's say we do come down here and we start to get a little bit of a bounce, right? The anticipation of the trend, if money flow is coming out, is going to be lower high, lower low. If money flow is coming back into the green on many time frames and we have the signals that we're looking for, then maybe you can look for the trend change back to the upside. It's all going to be dependent on what money flow is doing here. If it's coming out, lower high, lower low. If it is coming back up in a very nice way, then we can look for higher lows and higher highs. Does that make sense? It's like a filter on whether you're going to be favoring short positions or long positions. If money flow is coming out, like again, back to this larger range, right? What were we looking at here? We took a bunch of really nice short positions. I shorted about $102,000 on this retest. And why did I look for that retest? I don't, probably on the daily money flow is what I was looking at. But people might say like, oh my God, we're bouncing. This is bullish, all-time highs. But we're able to kind of have that X-ray vision into the market by understanding that money flow was coming out, right? Even here on the 8-hour, right? It's like, okay, we're bouncing, but what is your money flow doing, right? Your money flow is trending out. So sure, you can get the bounce off the green dot, right? But the lower high and lower low is going to be more likely. Why is that? Money flow, very simply put. And where is that lower high going to come in at? Golden pocket 786. There you go. Hopefully somebody just learned something. So there you go. Let's see. Shout out to Crypto Prince said, where can I get the money flow indicator? This is Market Cipher B. You can actually use our link in the description down below if you want to save, get a discount. I do not just do this because I'm like a paid shill or anything like that. I've been using Market Cipher before I knew Crypto Face, before I had a YouTube channel. I say this every time. The reason I tell people that this is a good indicator, excuse me, is because it works. And if you watch this show, you'll see us use that, show the examples every single day, right? Is it 100% accurate? Obviously not. Nothing is in trading, but it is literally, some people, someone said yesterday during the FOMC live stream as we were pushing down, they were like, Frankie said he was cautiously pessimistic, and he was right. He called it, right? And a part of the reason of that, that being the case, is the fact that we were looking at money flow, right? Money flow really helps with direction. And I think the easiest, kind of simplest way if you're learning money flow to look at, kind of learn this is if you come up to a higher time frame like the weekly. These weekly money flow crossovers are very slow. Like on a high time frame, I always explain the high time frames as like a cruise ship making a turn. They don't oscillate as fast as a lower time frame, but you could just see here, right? Typically, when your money flow crosses into the green, the massive trend is going to be to the upside. And then once that money flow crosses over into the red, this is part of the reason we were looking for the bear market to start here, was because money flow in the weekly was crossing into the red. This is almost indicated the bear market every single time. And then what happens? You cross back into the green, the bottom is in, massive trend to the upside. Right? So money flow crossover into the red, massive drop to the downside. Money flow crossover into the green, massive trend to the upside. And this is the weekly time frame, but that's just an easy way to kind of like look at this to understand how money flow works. And it does the same thing on every single time frame, except on a 5-minute, you're not going to anticipate a 67% dump. On a 5-minute, you probably anticipate a 1 to 2% dump. So there you go. All right. Let's see here. Shout out to the moon said market manipulation. Very, very likely. Very likely. All right. Let's see here. Shout out to Pobs says, I learned something, Frankie. Thank you very much. Let's go. There we go. Mission complete. If I could help one person learn something about these markets every day, that is all I can ask for. All right. Let's see. Let's take a look here. Lewis said, can you unblock me, please? Shout out to Lewis. You're not blocked. I see you, brother. I see you. There is only one Taco Bell here in the Netherlands, FFS, for Frankie's sake. Shout out to Nirvana. That is brutal. I love Taco Bell. Not going to lie. It's like my guilty pleasure. Not as much as I liked it when I was in college, though. That was like my diet in college. Let's see. We went to 114K last week. I'm not one to be super duper in TA. It's the end of the month. Liquidation's coming in hot. New month ahead. Yes. And again, I do want to kind of just re-mention here, guys, that I am bullish on Bitcoin. I do think we are still entering that final phase of the bull market where we are finally going to see some really, really, really big moves up, on Bitcoin, on Ethereum. We already see Ethereum moving, right? And I know people are probably like, what the heck are you talking about? Ethereum's dumping, right? But understand the long-term context here, right? Even if we got a bigger pullback from here, we can still look for higher lows and higher highs. We have Ethereum making moves. We have BNB making moves, right? BNB put it in a new all-time high. These are typically the first movers, right? We have the big boys move first. Even Solana starting to get that kick to the upside here. On the 22nd, we put in that top here. So So, this is just early warning signs, guys. Early warning signs that we could be seeing that final stage of the bull market coming, and hopefully an alt season. And I'm not going to lie, everybody's saying that. A lot of people saying alt season's canceled. Every single time we dump, everyone's like, oh my God, the bull market's over. In my opinion, that's a good sign, right? Because we talked about this like months ago. When you're in the final stages of the bull market, guys, everybody is perma bullish, right? Like back here in 2021, what was everybody saying? 100K, 100K. Pullback, 100K, 100K, pullback, 30K is the bottom, 30K is the bottom, higher low, 100K, right? That, when people are starting to be extremely bullish on big dumps, right? Typically, like, the masses are late to that feeling, right? We are bullish on pullbacks, right? When we know that there's a high chance of higher lows and higher highs. Like on this pullback, you guys know we've remained bullish, like super firm in our stance that the bear market was not here. And so many people were scared of this. So many people were calling for the bear market. And we just know, right? I've been in this space since 2016. I would argue 2017 because I got in at the end of 2016. But I've been through like many cycles here. So, when everyone gets bearish on the dumps, that's typically the dips that you want to buy. But if we go into another parabolic move up, right, and then people start getting really bullish on the big pullbacks, those, right, when people are saying, this is the bottom, I'm buying again, this is an opportunity, right, that is typically where you're about to put in a lower high and then send it back into the bear market. And I know this for a fact because in 2021, when we were getting this retracement down from the first massive dump down, everybody was very bullish, and I was the one that was I was one of the people that were saying, hey, weekly blood diamond, money flow crossing into the red on the weekly, bear flag, right? Not that I trade bear flags, but this is clearly bearish consolidation, and we were retracing into very key Fibonacci levels, right? We had the golden pocket, the 786, right? So we say, hey, money flow, especially on the weekly, is coming out. It's the same strategy, right? It's like, well, hey, we get the green dots, we get a bounce. Oh my God, everyone's bullish. But what is happening to money flow? It is generally trending to the downside, meaning the higher probability is a low, a high, or a high, a low, a lower high, and then the lower low. And with the weekly money flow crossing over into the red on top of the blood diamond that we had up here was a very clear sign that we were going to very likely push into the bear market. And everybody hated me, guys. Everybody hated me. But that's the price you pay for just speaking the truth when it's based off the charts. No one ever wants to hear it's going down. But again, it just kind of shows, right? When people are angry, right, or people are upset that you're saying that you're going to dump, it's probably a good, people like, you're an idiot, man. We're going to 100K. Didn't you see that, this bullish news? Don't you see the fundamentals are more bullish than ever? That's where you're looking for the move down. It's when people are super bullish, right? On the big dips, that's when you're probably going down. But on all the dips that we've seen recently, especially this one, everyone's super bearish. Even here on the little pullback that we saw yesterday, everyone's like, that's it. Bear market's here. But, I just don't fall in that camp. Could it be possible? Yes. Could I be wrong? Absolutely. I've been wrong before. I will be wrong before. It's one thing I can guarantee you. It can't be right 100% of the time. You can't catch them all. But yeah, we're not playing Pokemon here. But let's see. Yo, shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He said, my bad. Sold the bag of BTC. Don't panic. I just needed to buy some things. Shout out to Golden. He's like, I just wanted that jet so bad. I had to sell some Bitcoin. Shout out to Golden. Let's go, baby. Well, hopefully, Golden, hopefully you buy back in and you can pump us back into new all-time highs. All right, let's see. Oh, yeah, I wanted to, someone was saying that we got down to, push down to 114K. Yeah, so this is like, this level that we bounced off here was, sure, 100% we pushed down to 114,750-ish, right? But at the end of the day, right, like the key level that I was looking at here was really 115K level. If I pull up that actual, I guess I deleted that golden pocket. But this was a golden pocket, a daily MPOC, starting at 115.3, going down to about 115K even. We just wicked down below a little bit. The 114K level I am talking about is the CME gap, which is like sitting way closer to like actually $114,000. And we do have single prints down there that can get filled as well, right? And again, this is not all guaranteed, right? Yeah, there it goes. There she goes. All right, let's see. Let me pull this back up. Yeah, this 786, guys, this 786 doesn't hold. And to be honest, at this point, right, we're losing that. This is the key level, guys. This is not, I'm just going to keep my sentiment. I don't want to over-explain it to confuse people, right? Like, this is the line in the sand. If we can't reclaim back into this 786 and snap above that value area low, I mean, we'll see. Crazy things can happen, but, at this point, right, all the money flow is pointing down, right? It's been our bias on all of these high, low, lower, high, all this entire trend to the downside. That has been the bias. But again, just to have you prepared, if we do get some kind of crazy snapback to the upside, this is the next key level to watch. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump on into some altcoins. Let's go. Shout out to Jessica and Shirley Sound dropping those golden emojis. Let's go. Golden, they love you. Even when you're not gifted memberships, bro, they love you. Golden Child, you're an shout out to Golden, said Golden Child, you're an orphan. I made sure I left you that way. Shout out to Golden. That is brutal. Tough love. Shout out to Space Nectar says, it's like a play on Base Nectar. Shout out to Base Nectar. Are you saying 114K is the start of the bear? No. That is not what I'm saying. If we break 114K, the biggest retracement I would be looking at would be $112,000 to $110,000. And I've talked about this a lot. Shout out to Space Nectar. Maybe you just tuned in. But we have the structural highs at 112, right? And then this runs down into our, let me clean some of this up real quick, right? This also does run into our lower volume profile, right? So we have 112 to 110, and then if we lose that, we have one more honorable mention level at the POC at about 108 to 107K. Once we start losing that, I wouldn't even, this is really where we want to bounce, to be honest. If we do continue that bigger retracement down, if we do not get the bounce here, I still wouldn't really necessarily be calling bear market, but it starts to get a little sticky down here for the reason that, we talked about yesterday, which is you start losing this, and we'll just look at this from a simple, let me pull up a clean chart here real quick. Just look at that. Such rejection right into the golden pocket 786 is beautiful. But when we look at this, right, when we pull our Fibonacci retracements, just from a simple fib standpoint here, golden pocket comes in at about 108 to 107K. This would just be a retracement, right? This would help you continue the higher low situation, right? So definitely an opportunity to bounce there. This is kind of the last level I would like to see. Could you bounce off? But Frankie, what about, here, we didn't reject the golden pocket. We shot up to the 786. Isn't that the same thing on the way down? It is, right? If you don't bounce off the golden pocket and you lose it, you would be looking to that 786. But if we bounce off this 786, there is a possibility that we are going to get accepted into our macro value area, right? Which I just brought up before. If we start losing, and I'll pull that same 786 right here so you can get an idea. Pull it from the swing low to the swing high, right? Golden pocket, like this would be just a much more beautiful place to bounce off of. And this is going to be longer term, right? It's going to take us a little bit of time to get down there. But, could you come down here, bounce, get a push into the 786 and still send it up? Yes. The problem here is if we get into that 786, you really got to get above this value area high, because if we get stuck inside this value area high, it does open the door for a bigger drop down to 97K. We'll assess that level when we get there, right? We are still pretty far away from this. I'll just get like a rough estimate. All right, we're still 16% away from this. So it is there. The support is there. It's sitting at about 103.5, 103.6. But I just don't like it as much as coming down, because here you have the golden pocket, you have the value area high, you also have some daily MPOCs down there, so you do have like a lot of support in this zone. The 786 just gets, it's not that you can't bounce there, it's just it gets a little bit more sketchy because you could get accepted into the range. So yeah, I mean, you could even like look for scalp moves, scalp longs off of that level as well. But you just got to be careful on the way up, because if you get stuck in here, could be much more bearish. But we have plenty of room to come down. Maybe we don't even have to deal with 112K. Maybe we hit 114 and we get the bounce. If not, we can look down here, and then hopefully we don't have to deal with this situation, because this is going to be really difficult. Because I can't just say, that's it, we broke about below the value area high, it's all over, because there is a possibility that you could even see here, you break back into the range, bearish retest, you get stuck, but you do wind up eventually. I mean, even here, you came back down. This was a difficult situation as well. We just don't want to deal with this, to be honest. And I'm just going to say that we don't have to worry about it. If we come down there, then we'll just get, we'll get cornered, and we'll be like, all right, fine, we got to deal with this. But we do still have plenty of support above. So yeah. Let's see. Live dumpage. Shout out to Eddie. That's live dumpage, baby. Live dumpage. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump on into some altcoins. We'll jump into Ethereum real quick. I mean, as we looked at yesterday, actually, I pulled it up over here during the FOMC live stream. We were taking a look at this little volume profile, right? We have the, I can get rid of this. This is old, right? We have the deviation above the high. Once you get accepted into this value area, guys, doorway to the POC, I would say the next key level on Ethereum, at least locally here, would be the point of control sitting at 36.46. Right? If we can't get back out of this value area, very, very likely you come down to the POC. This is the strongest, this is the strongest magnet within your profile. And then if you get stuck under that POC, you are simply going to look for the full fill of the range. Just like when you come to the low, you go to the POC, you flip the POC, you go to the high, right? Same kind of thing. So yeah. Hopefully, again, I would always say hopefully we don't have to deal with that, right? But, at this point, you're back in your profile. You tried to get a bounce. You get accepted back in. I would say the point of control is your next big key level of support to look at. 36.46, value area low sitting at 35.39. Other than that, I would say, looking very similar to Bitcoin, right? Money flow a little bit better here on the 8-hour. You're a little thicker in the green here. And again, these are short-term moves, guys. Long-term, I am still bullish. But your 4-hour, your 5-hour, your 6-hour are all having money flow coming out. This is an indication that you are going to get some kind of continuation to the downside. Hopefully we can fake out to the upside, but that would be going against the TA. And when you just look at this from a simple standpoint, this is why I love Market Cypher, right? It's like if you were looking at nothing else, it's like, well, hey, let's find our last little 4-hour money flow crossover, right? Even here, right? You have your range, 4-hour money flow crosses over into the red. And what happens? Continuation to the downside. Did it bring you to zero? No, right? Because your longer term bias was, hey, we are inside of our larger volume profile, and as long as we stay in this range, you look to fill it in full, which we absolutely got to play out. So, it doesn't mean you can't look for those extra drops down, right? And again, there's that 4-hour money flow crossover, right? You are going to be anticipating some kind of continuation down. But what happens? You put in a low, a high, a higher low, and a higher high. How are we able to identify this? Well, very simply put, our higher time frame money flow was in the green, indicating the longer term trend would continue to the downside. We're not worried if money flow is coming into the green or even just coming up on the 2-day. You're not super concerned about that 4-hour money flow crossover. It just indicates a little ebb or flow before the continuation of the overall longer-term trend, which is viewed on the 2-day. Does that make sense? So there you go. That's what we're looking at. Key support, again, I would just be watching this volume profile for now. You can mark out these levels so you can get them on your chart, right? Once we start breaking below this at about, 35.40, this is obviously sitting very, very close to our value area high of the range. So, big level that you don't want to get accepted under for Ethereum would be getting back inside this value area. Once you get stuck in here, we could look for the bigger pullback. I still would not necessarily be calling for zero because we might just be going for a bigger retracement, right? And if I pull this fib from the low to the high, you can see we have the golden pocket perfectly confluent with this structural support. We also have a daily MPOC in there, and you also have a higher MPOC as well, right? So this is a big zone of support as well. It just, again, gets a little difficult, right? Because if you bounce, it's not possible to fill the range in full, but that is not what we would anticipate if we're going to see the final phase of the bull market play out and we're going to get alt season to come in. We would not be anticipating that, especially if money flow is crossing into the green, right? Some people would say, well, why wouldn't you look for that full fill of the range if that's what you typically look for? And it just, the simple answer to that is money flow, right? Whoops. If money flows in the green, you might have a little ebb or flow to the downside. This would be a little bit more dramatic, right? But you could still put, as long as this money flow stays in the green, your bias is higher low, higher high. So there we go. Let's take a quick look at Solana, or Solonzo, as some people like to call it. So we are coming down to this golden pocket. Key level on Solana still remains the same here, guys. 786 value area high, same level we looked at yesterday. 168.46 to 166.45. You have your 786 and your value area high. If we don't bounce off the golden pocket, you'll lose this. Chances are the next level you're going to look at is right here, right? And it would be a nice range retest before getting another bounce to the upside. And then Market Cypher, still looking the same. 4-hour money flow is crossed over into the red. We've looked at this on just about every coin that we look at. This would indicate that the trend is going to continue down. Hopefully not into a massive red wave to dig us deeper into this profile. But right now, the local level of support would be 166. I would say 106, or no, I'd say between about $168 and $166, right? It's never going to be a perfect tap of the line. Sometimes it is, but very often it is going to be somewhat of a range. But essentially, you're just looking to bounce off the 786 value area high. And if you get stuck in here, next big level to look at would be the golden pocket with the daily MPOC confluences sitting between 157.94 to 366, right? Hopefully we don't have to deal with that, but if we have to, we know we have that support down there. So all eyes on $166 to $168 for Solana. And again, like also on Bitcoin, guys, and all the altcoins as well, right? Like all these high time frame red dots that we've been looking at, right? Here, 5-day red dot looking to print, 4-day red dot looking to print, 3-day red dot is printing. So this also just indicates some kind of ebb or flow to the downside. But again, money flow is going to be king. You have your money flow attempting to continue up here on the 3-day. Your 2-day is obviously pretty thick in the green here. So again, it would be higher low, higher high is the higher probability until we see something change. All right, let's see. Jesse said, Gen Z, stop biting your lip. Shout out to Gen Z. The lip bite emoji is crazy. Oh God. Vegas Claw is apologizing to Tony D. I can only imagine what he said. All right, so there's Solana, Ethereum, XRP. We've obviously been keeping an eye on as well. We are approaching that anchored VWAP that we looked at yesterday, now sitting at about 292. But again, guys, if we cannot hold that anchored VWAP, hopefully we can. If we cannot hold this anchored VWAP, we can look for a retest of the high of the range where we have another big key level of confluence between about 260 and 250. Daily MPLC golden pocket value area high. I'll be honest, this would honestly be too clean, in my opinion. Sometimes the most obvious answer is not the answer. But, coming down here to retest the high of the range, would this make me think that XRP is done? Absolutely not. This would be the weirdest thing in the world, guys, to see. Maybe not for XRP, but it'd be like the weirdest thing to see, like, almost all these alts not put in a new all-time high other than, like, BNB, and very, very select others. Yeah, the retest of this range would be like absolutely perfect, but it almost seems a little too obvious to me. But you do have confluence there. If you lose this golden pocket, the biggest level to hold, in my opinion, the line in the sand would be the 786 at about 230. Once you lose this MPOC 786 at about 230, then you're looking for a ride down to the value area low. I don't really want to see that. This would kind of make me start scratching my head like, oh, is something wrong? So it's not my base case to fill this range in full, so I'm hoping for a bounce. If we do get the bigger drop to the golden pocket value area low, I'm hoping for a bounce here. POC, honorable mention at 240. But again, typically when you lose that golden pocket, you are going to go for that 786. So this is the lowest I would like to come on XRP before really starting to reassess the situation and question if something's wrong. But we still have plenty of room to come down here. So if you're feeling scared, just understand, like, even a pullback here would not be the worst thing in the world. It's just a golden pocket retracement. We got a massive rip here of almost 100%, right? And we're only down 17%. I know 17% sounds crazy, but on an altcoin, right, it's not that crazy of a situation. And even if we pull back here, I would consider that a healthy correction. Doesn't mean you have to hold it, right? But it's not that in and of itself does not make it like worrisome. It would just be like, no, that's not that big of a deal. You would expect a golden pocket retracement to be healthy. So yeah, but holding it, you would really want to hold it. So there you go. And it's the same thing here for the moves to the downside. It's the same thing on the moves for the bounces to the upside as it is for the moves to the downside. Like when we look at Bitcoin, the way we're able to predict almost every single one of these, not almost, every single one of these lower highs was all based off that Fibonacci theory, right? So it's the same thing on XRP, but just on a bounce, right? Same thing on Solana for a bounce, right? It's just Fibonacci retracements. Just like a lower high is likely to come in on the golden pocket 78 or the golden pocket 786. You look for the lower highs here, right? You're going to look for the higher lows on your golden pocket 786. Same thing, right? Hopefully we can get that. Break down into the range. Obviously going to look lower to the bigger fib levels. So there we go. Let's go ahead and jump into some other alts. Shout out to Tony, said, sure, didn't get my master troll degree for nothing. Shout out to Tony. Tony out there trolling. Let's go, baby. I am way behind on chat. Let me come up to current price here, or current chat. Thank you, Frankie, for sending me some COQINJ. I definitely did not expect that. Shout out to Skizzle. Good Lord, the Mafia's on one tonight. All right, let's see. Beam, Link, can we check Pepe? Yes, we could check. Actually, people were asking. We looked at Pepe briefly yesterday on the fake out, I believe. But here we are. Man, I wish I remember exactly what we were looking at. Let me just try to get my bearings here. I mean, very clear. Deviation above your high, acceptance back into the range, even almost got a perfect bearish retest of that value area high. I mean, I would say within your profile here, Get rid of this blue box. That was support, but we did break below it. Let me see. Yeah, I mean, guys, money flow. You know, I don't want to overcomplicate things, right? Because like I said, when we cover the lower time frames, this is a very confusing situation, especially on Bitcoin on the lower time frames, because market ciphers like very chopped up in this kind of sketchy, choppy price action. But you know, longer term, when we look at the 8-hour money flow crossover into the red, what does this indicate? This indicates the continuation of a downtrend. High, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, until we see that change. Right? So I would still say bias here would be for a continuation to the downside. You're also getting accepted below your value area high, which is usually an indication that you could start working your way back to the POC. I personally would not love to come back down to the POC. If we look at this golden pocket retracement from the low here all the way to the absolute high, not the all-time high, but the absolute high of that move, you have your golden pocket here, which we've already bounced off of. So to be quite honest, if we can't hold, yeah, man, this is a little difficult, because if we can't hold, we pull from this high to this low. Yeah, I mean, I would say the local levels to watch on Pepe would be this golden pocket. And again, with money flow right now, I would not anticipate this to necessarily be the bottom, just because your trend likelihood is to the downside, right? So I would more likely be looking for lower highs and lower lows. So, you know, honorable mention support here at, you know, starting at about 1076 down to about 1057. Again, I wouldn't necessarily anticipate that to be the low because of money flow. So if we do continue down, you have your 786 at about 969. We'll have to identify what money flow looks like when we get down there, if we get down there. But, you know, longer term, I'll get rid of this golden pocket just because it's already tapped. I would not be paying as much attention to that. So, yeah, actually, let me do this. Take that golden pocket off the chart. Yeah, I mean, not impossible to bounce here, but that would be, again, if you're looking for bounces at the current levels, guys, for new highs, you're looking to just fade the money flow, which is not something I typically like to do. So if you lose that golden pocket, next level would be here at about, let me pull up the actual numerical levels here. Yeah, 968 for the 786. And then once you lose that, really you'd be looking at the POC, right? Because if you weren't looking at your local fib levels, get stuck under the value area high, you're looking to go to that POC anyway, which is also your macro 786, right? So I would say the next biggest level of support is down here in the 800s for Pepe. But unless you can stick local support on this fib level, you know, lose that 786, I would 100% be anticipating the POC larger macro 786 sitting down here between 806 and 765. But money flow all looks the same on all this, right? Money flow coming out. All right, let's see. Yo, Golden gifting the memberships. Let's go, baby. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for gifting those Frankie Candles memberships. Let's get it. Start that golden waterfall. No golden showers here, guys. No golden showers here. Only golden waterfalls for our boy Golden for gifting those memberships. Thank you so much for doing that, Golden. I appreciate you more than you could possibly know. And he also did send a super chat. Thank you for the super chat. That YouTube is trying to mess with me and gifting memberships again. That's not going to end well for YouTube. Shout out to Golden. Let's go. They're trying to stop the man, the philanthropist. They're trying to stop Golden from helping out the mafia. Not going to go well. Shout out to Golden. Let's go, baby. He's got like 100 alt accounts so he can continue to gift those memberships. They must think like, how is this guy gifting so many memberships? They probably flag it as like something suspicious is going on here, but they don't know our boy Golden. Let's go. Shout out to Golden. Another 50 Frankie Candles memberships. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, man. Mrs. Candles is outside. She's probably like, what is he screaming at? Shout out to Golden, man. Thank you so much. We appreciate you more than you could possibly imagine. Spam those golden emojis for our boy. And, unbelievable. Yo, shout out to Jordy. What's going on, Jordy? Good to see you, man. He says, made my last student loan payment today, paid off my car in 2023. Now this. Thank you, brother, for everything you've done for me and everybody. Shout out to Jordy. Let's go, baby. We'll throw a little bit of money for you. I got some hungies on the table here. Let's go. All right, that hit the fan. Definitely ripped some of those bills. Shout out to Jordy, bro. Congratulations. No student loans is a nice burden off your back, bro. Let's get it. Shout out to Jordy. He's an example of somebody who comes here and learns every day and puts what he learns to effect. Into effect. Shout out to Jordy, bro. Jordy Cicero. Let's go, bro. Shout out to you, man. Congratulations. And glad I was able to help you in any way, shape, or form. This is why we have this YouTube channel. It is my main goal to help you guys actually make money, not gatekeep my strategies. But yeah, let's see. Yo, Sin City in the chat just got a membership. Shout out to Sin City Crypto. What is going on, guys? Welcome in. Thank you for being here. And enjoy the membership. Let's go. Spam those golden emojis and shout out Sin City Crypto in the chat. Hope you guys are doing well. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to bullishsauce.eth is saying Frankie is the market goat. Let's go. Shout out to Phoebe, my pet imaginary goat. Nirvana shouting out Jordy. Let's go. Jordy, let everybody know. Was it an easy journey? Did you get rich overnight? Let everybody know. Hopefully he didn't. That didn't happen because obviously that's a unlikely expectation. But I'm sure he has put in a lot of hard work, and I'm sure it wasn't easy. But it is proof that it is possible. Shout out to Jordy, bro. Congratulations. All right, let's continue on. Shout out to KJ. Alexander says XRP and Link. We actually did take a look at XRP. If you scrub back just a little bit, you will see XRP. So go check that out. Scrub back just a few minutes. I believe it was we went Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP. So scrub back and check it out. Let's go. All right, let's see. Golden shouting out Sin City. Let's go. That's Golden 2, one of Golden's 42 alt accounts. XRP run this year helped me paid off my boat. Next run will pay off the house. Hashtag goals. Shout out to Crypto Soul. Let's go. Why did I say Crypto Soul? One Hype Soul. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Dogecoin. Yeah, we'll take a look at Dogecoin. No problemo. We will also take a look at yo, shout out to Buff. Shout out R. Kelly, man. That's crazy. All right. So we'll what was the other one I wanted to take a look at here? Shout out to Brock says, how do I receive a membership? You got to change your settings in YouTube. Sometimes by default they're shut off. You have to go into your YouTube settings and enable gifted memberships. All right, so let's take a quick look at Dogecoin. Where's it at? Well, here we are, guys. Man, it is guys, TA is crazy, man. I love when people I love when people like fade TA and they say it's astrology for crypto bros. And I think really all it is they have the wrong expectation. They think that people think TA is a way to guarantee where price is going to go. And that is not what it is here to do. It is only here to assist us in finding the highest probability outcome. Highest probability is not 100%. If it was that easy, right, I would never lose a trade. Guess what, guys? I hate to spoil. I lose trades sometimes. I get stopped out. But it's insane, right? So we were looking at this, I believe yesterday, if not the day before. We might have looked at this on the FOMC stream potentially. But, you know, our key level to the downside here was the golden pocket. We got a little bit of a bounce, right? Why did we not get the massive bounce that you would hope for? Well, generally, you have money flow coming out into the red. And when money flow crosses into the red, you are going to be looking for a continuation of the trend to the downside. And what happens? You get the continuation of the trend. Where do you go? Into the 786, which is your next key level of support. Would I anticipate this to be the bottom? I'll be honest, guys, I hope it is, but I would not say there's a high probability of it. If we cannot reclaim this anchored VWAP sitting at 21 cents, there is a possibility, right, that you could come back down and retest this bigger level of support. And to be honest, I don't really see much until we get down to this daily MPOC at about 18 cents. And we got the move above our door rate of higher prices that we looked at for so long. Flipped it to support, and at that point, you're anticipating the next move to be into your POC, where we had confluence on the weekly naked point of control. Where did we put the top in? Right on that level. This is where you can anticipate a pullback. How do we know it's not going to go to zero? Well, simple answer is we don't know if it's going to go to zero. I wouldn't say it's going to zero, but if we pull our full fib from the high to the low here, actually, it's already here. You have your bigger golden pocket sitting down here. This would definitely be a level I'd pay attention to. It is sitting between 0.198 and 0.192. So if you do get a push below the 786, look to push into that golden pocket. If you can't get the bounce there, at that point, right, it's going to be much more likely to retest that value area low, which is also confluent with the macro 786 and daily naked point of controls, right? So I would say this is an honorable mention. We'll have to assess price action as we push in there, but if we come into this lower level of support, it is sitting between 18 and 16 cents. The biggest level of support on the chart right now is the 786 value area low. You might even want to just separate that because that's like really like your, not panic zone, but if you want to continue your bigger trend to the upside based off the 2-day money flow being in the green here, if you want to continue that big move up, this would be the deepest I would like that correction to come. Right? If we wick below, you would really want a closure back in there. You would want some kind of an SFP. You would want it to be a fast wick. You do not want to hang out below that 786. If you do, you're anticipating to take out this low, which is not what we want to see right now, especially in this phase of the market. You know, we kind of are hoping for the higher lows and higher highs, which are either going to come in here or here. Lose this, probably come in much lower. So that's what I'd be looking at on Dogecoin. Let's see. Shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. Said, Jordy, please tell us your story and how Frankie helped you. I genuinely want to hear it. Shout out to Golden. Let's hear it. And Jordy. Shout out to Jordy. Thank you for the super chat. Says, not easy at all. It was consistency. You taught me how to catch SFPs, and I learned the ETH 1.8K to 3.2K range like the back of my hand. Never more than 3x. Shout out to Jordy. Let's go, bro. Congratulations on your success, man. And the fact that I was able to help you out in any way, shape, or form literally is a dream come true for me. Not only do I love trading, not only do I love streaming, not only do I love hanging out with the CandleMafia, but I genuinely enjoy helping people. I don't know how sustainable this would be. Money is cool. Trading is fun. Oh, my God, we hit a trade. Whatever it is, right? That's fun. But it's never, money is nowhere near as fulfilling as being able to help people, at least for me personally. Maybe if I worshiped money more, I would, I don't know. But genuinely, I don't know. I think there's more, as someone who literally does, it's like we're in the business of money, right? They always say if you want whatever you want the outcome of your career to be, go into that field, right? If you want to make money, get in the business of money, right? It's just kind of like a byproduct of the skill that you're learning, right? But it's not the most fulfilling thing in the world. For me personally, there was a time where I thought I wanted to be a police officer just to help people. Never wound up doing that. But crazy, because I wound up in a career path where I wasn't really helping people. Maybe I worked in TV for many years. Maybe that helps people be entertained. But never in my life did I ever think I would be able to help people to this magnitude. I feel super blessed to do that. And it's what keeps us coming up here every single day. This is an exhausting job, guys, but keeping up, see these results is really what I love about this job. It's the coolest thing in the world. That and meeting the CandleMafia are my two favorite parts. And then the money's just like a byproduct, right? When we hit a trade, it's like, oh, cool. And honestly, guys, once you trade for long enough, I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to like, money is like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know. It's like you become numb to the number on the screen at some point, which is really good for trading, honestly, because you want to delete your emotions from the charts anyway. But yeah, it's I don't really get the tickles when I make a bunch of money anymore. I get the tickles when we get messages like that. Shout out to Jordy, bro. Congratulations. I mean that. All right, let's see. Shout out to Jordy. Said I'm a huge DeFi nerd. I love DeFi, but didn't know anything about trading. Shout out to Jordy. Funny enough, hey Jordy, maybe you could teach me some stuff about DeFi. I'm not a huge DeFi guy, so maybe you can help me. Come on, bro. Make me some money. I'm just kidding. Low time frame bull divs. I don't know if you're talking about Dogecoin or Bitcoin, but again, guys, your local level of support here is going to be the 786 on Dogecoin, sitting at about 20 cents. Lose that golden pocket between 0.198 and 0.193. Long term, though, if the bigger retracement happens, if Bitcoin gets the big dump, we could be looking down towards that value area low, 786 daily MPLC confluence between 17.174 and about 16 cents at the value area low. This is the zone you do not want to lose. Until we lose this zone, until we lose this, I am looking for higher lows and higher highs. Because once you start losing this, chances are your 2-day money flow is probably bleeding out anyway. So there would be no reason to look for a big bounce there. But if we are where we think we are in the market, I think the higher low and higher high is probably going to be likely, right? Eventually, even if you have to retest the value area low, I would say still, even if you have to do that, chances are you could still remain in the range and come back to the upside. And you only have to look as far as ETH and what happened to ETH to identify that that can be the case, right? Here, you got from the low to the POC, broke above the POC, and then came back down to retest the low before finally filling the range, right? And just, keep that in mind. This was very exciting. Everyone was very scared here, but just understand, when you get a 100% move to the upside, right, a pullback of 26% is not unlikely, right? And we also, I do believe, had some Fibonacci retracements here as well, which made it likely to put in a higher low right on that level, right? You can't make it up, right? Can't make it up. That's where you would look for the higher low. right? If it wasn't at the golden pocket, it would be the 786. If you lost that 786, we'd be looking down to much lower prices. But what happens? Money flow was indeed correct. You put in the higher low, even though you had to come back down to the value area low, and then you send it all the way up to fill the range. Insane. All right, so there we go. Let's see. Shout out to Ann says, man, how can we dump for the third time in a week to 115-ish K? And altcoins are every time significantly more beaten up. It sucks. Yeah, shout out to Ann. That's just the nature of the altcoins. When Bitcoin gets into a fight, the altcoins kind of come in and get their, they get kicked around pretty bad. It's like Bitcoin's the big boy, and then like all the little altcoin kids try to come help, and they just get smashed. Institutions catching liquidation. Shout out to Shazai. I don't know how to say your name. I apologize. Shout out to DK Insight said at Ann, the Matrix. They don't want you to escape the system. Shout out to DK. Could be. I do think trading is probably the quickest way out of the Matrix. It is crazy, right? It is really cool, right? Because the one cool thing about trading is like you're not reliant on anybody. You're not reliant on a boss. You're not reliant on a schedule other than like the chart. You're not reliant on customers. You don't have to try to – this is why like trading is such a good business. Number one, it's extremely scalable, right? You don't need employees. You don't have to have a boss, right? Which is like, I don't know, that's kind of like an elementary reason to like trading. Like, I don't want a boss. It's like, who cares, right? But it is very scalable, and it's not locked to a location. I mean, heck, you could trade on your phone. I was trading out at the bachelor party I was just at last weekend in Vegas. Shout out to Sin City and Vegas Claw. And it's like the most free thing, right? It's the most freeing job you could possibly have. But it takes a lot of work, right? You can't just make as much as a brain surgeon on your phone or from your computer without putting in a little bit of work or a lot of bit of work and potentially spending some money on market tuition. But if you've ever gone to college, shout out to Jordy, spent tens, maybe even hundreds of thousands of dollars going to college. But no one expects to get rich quick off college. So it's like the same thing. If you approach it with the same mindset, that's kind of what I did. I was like, hey, I went to school and spent all this money, and I wasn't planning on getting rich quick. Why am I trying to get rich quick here, right? Why don't I just treat it like an actual career path? Why don't I study the skill and give myself a few years to learn it? And then if I put my all in for 2 to 3 years, eventually it would be unreasonable to think that I won't be better at this in 2 to 3 years. And guess what? Having that long timeline made it much easier for me to escape the chasing money, trying to get rich overnight mentality. And guess what? It didn't take 3 years. But if you approach it with that longer mindset, it kind of gets rid of that like get rich quick overnight mentality, because that is one of the fastest ways to blow up your accounts and not become profitable. But shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat. Said, I've worshipped Bitcoin like a religion, not the U.S. dollar, and it has worked out well when it comes to the U.S. dollar. Funny how that works. Yeah, it is. I was actually talking to somebody about this before a couple days ago, actually. It's like, you're the crazy crypto people and until like the big boys get in, and now all of a sudden people are like, oh, maybe there is something to this Bitcoin. So it's the most validating thing ever, because like you're the crazy conspiracy theorist. Oh my God, new money, the U.S. dollar's collapsing. Like people think you're crazy. Until like we got here before the institutions, right? And Golden, way before I was in. But it's really cool to like have that foresight and then like see it all come full circle. It's like, oh, now you think Bitcoin's cool. Super validating. But anyway, let's see. Shout out to AV. Said, Frankie, you're the man. Is it possible we're just going to revisit yesterday's low, then pump? Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Sitting at 116. Good Lord, man. This thing does not want to stop. Good Lord, man. Good Lord. Let's see. Yeah, you got your... The way I look at it, I can never say it's nothing. I can never say it's impossible. At the end of the day, guys, you could look at all the key levels in the world. There's going to be times on the chart where just crazy stuff happens. Maybe you can reclaim this 786, but in my opinion, losing this 786 was a pretty bearish sign. That just is what it is, right? Like, this is where you would look for the higher low here. You would look for the higher low here. Once you lose this, it invalidates the idea of the higher low, and it is more likely to come take out that low. Maybe you could sweep the liquidity, but Yeah, let me pull up the actual Bitcoin chart that we were looking at before. Let me get rid of all of this. That 786 is here. Yeah, I mean, the idea here really would be low, high. Like if you bounce off that 786, we probably would have come up, right? So if we come back down here, it's like, yeah, chances of bouncing off this a second time are low in my opinion. Again, not impossible, but just not something I would look at, right? If we do bounce off here and say I don't take a new long position, it's totally fine, right? Like I don't care about missing a move. I'll always catch it on a retest or something like that. I'll just wait for the next position. That's another big thing that if you're learning how to trade, you really want to start to try to lock down. You do not want to chase positions. You do not want to miss a move and then feel like you missed the move and start panicking for an entry. This is one of the worst things to do because what are you doing? You are chasing money. All you're thinking is, oh, man, I could have made money if I did this. I could have done that. I could have done this. But that has nothing to do with your actual trading plan, right? I'm trying to find an example. I was honestly prepared. It was not the case. I was prepared to miss this long position even though we had the setup in the Discord. Luckily, I was able to catch it while I was traveling for the bachelor party in Vegas. So I did catch it. It was very nice. It was very exciting. Actually made my time in Vegas much more fun because it was like, hey, I'm out here. I'm making money. I'm basically getting paid for being on a bachelor trip. But it is I kind of prepared. I was like, listen, life happens, right? Again, it's like, you're not going to catch every single move. If I had missed this move while I was traveling, really for me personally, this is a specific situation. Like, it's a little better when I miss a move because most of the time, especially if I have the setup in the Discord, like the Mafia is making money, so it kind of like eases the blow. I'm like, at least the Mafia is making money, and like that makes me feel good. But I was prepared to like potentially miss this move because I was trying not to be glued to my phone the whole time. I'm like infamously the guy who just never stops being on the charts, and I wanted to try to enjoy some time with my friends that I have not seen in a really long time. So I was prepared to miss this move. If I had missed this move, would I have been, oh my God, I got a long, oh my God? No. I would have simply waited to come up to my next key level, look for a new confirmation, and catch the short. But what if I missed both of them? It's okay. I would have catch this long. I would have caught this short. I would have caught this long. If I missed this one, I would have caught that one, right? There's always another move on the charts. And when you're leverage trading like we do, you don't really even need a big move, right? All you need is a little volatility to make some money. Let me see. Let me just pull up my. I'm not logged into Femex on my computer because it blue screened. Unbelievable. Actually, blue screened twice today. But I will just kind of show you this on my phone. Maybe I'll try to log in on the fake out so I can actually show it to you guys. Where we at? Bada boom, bada bing. So yeah, this position is up. Let me see. So yeah, just to kind of show this, right? Like you don't need that much money. Or you don't need that much of a move, right? So where's my entry here? Yeah, so I entered in like right about this retest. My entry was like, I actually got filled like right here. I entered right here. But, this isn't even really that big of a move, right? Like just to kind of show you guys this. This is a 1.5% move. And just to give you guys an idea of like how much of my own money I have on this position. I have $1,900 in this position. And just on this little dump to the downside of, basically 1%, 1.5%, I'm up 700 and is that going to focus? Can you guys see that? $777, right? And that is within how long? 3 hours, right? And all I did was sit here and let price dump to the downside. Now, am I mad because I missed my original, entry of the key resistance level that we had up here? Absolutely not. And do I chase it on the way down? No. I wait for the retest on a local golden pocket just to show you guys exactly where that is for some learning opportunities, right? I just pull from the high to the low. And then I say, well, hey, now we're getting the rejection here. I look for some local confirmation. I enter the trade. I look for a lower high and a lower low to break structure to the downside, and I get the move, right? And my longer-term bias was down for the past, I can't tell you how long anyway. So, I look to hold it, right? So it just goes to show, right? I'm not like, although I do have a bigger account, right? Like when you're leverage trading, the beautiful thing is you don't even really need, like, people probably think like, yeah, well, you made $700 in a couple hours because you're trading with 50 grand, right? I might have a lot in my account, but you don't have to put that much on an actual position, right? So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. But just to show you, like, you don't need these. Why am I not mad that I missed the entry up here? Because I could just find another entry. I'm not chasing. I'm just waiting for an actual sound entry to get in. Would I like to get up here and the original resistance that we were looking at? Yes. Would I be upset if I missed this whole short? Absolutely not. And the reason I'm really pressing this, guys, because it's a super important thing to understand about trading. It does not matter. And I like to lead by example, right? Like I don't trip over missed moves because guess what? When you miss a move, you don't lose any money. You only miss potential gains. And I always say missed gains are none of your business. You could have won the lottery last week, but you didn't, right? So, like, who cares? It's the same thing, except here the lottery kind of happens, every 5 minutes. But anyway, hopefully that helps somebody out there. 150K and shout out to Tony, says 150K and alt season guaranteed. Just be wise, not greedy. Shout out to Tony. I like that. I wouldn't say guaranteed. That's a strong word in trading, but I do hope so. I am going to be looking for higher prices. I am going to be looking for alt season, but I can never say, at least as as someone who comes up here public, this is not financial advice, guys. I cannot promise anything, and I think maybe I kind of am level-headed to a fault. It would probably be a lot better for views and clicks or whatever it is if I'm just like, it's guaranteed to go to 200K, guys. Just keep watching, keep clicking that like button. But it's not, I'm not here for a quick money grab, guys, here. I'm here to help people for the long term. I'm here to make an impact like Jordy. For people like Jordy, I'm here to make an actual impact. I'm not here to just like do a quick money grab on YouTube. Plus, YouTube does not really pay well. I think our AdSense that we get paid is like $14 a month or something. It's really hard to make a lot of money on YouTube. That's like a common misconception. People like, people just have these YouTube channels, make money on YouTube. It's like, you need so many views to make money on YouTube. Millions. But anyway, all right, let's see. Bada boom, bada bing. Shout out to Panda the Prophet. Said, Frankie, just straight up dishing out the sauce. You're the best, Frankie. Shout out to Panda. I appreciate you guys. Smash that like button if you appreciate the free content. Now let's jump into some other altcoins. Saw a couple people asking for syrup here. Let's see. I'm a maple syrup guy myself, or a boysenberry. All right, let's take a look. I do think we actually have a level, a chart here. I almost typed in boysenberry. There we are. Okay, so, hang on a second. Golden gifting more memberships. Unbelievable. Golden's crazy. Golden, bro. You are out of control, bro. I can't even scroll. I really do think Golden breaks YouTube sometimes. Like, I can't scroll to see how many gifted memberships he's given. I see 3. So that's 150 memberships for the Mafia. Spam that golden emoji for our boy Golden. He said, you don't need YouTube AdSense when I keep gifting. Shout out to Golden. Yes, Golden's memberships outweigh YouTube's revenue by far. My YouTube revenue is negligible, but not Golden's memberships. Insane. Shout out to Golden, bro. You are the GOAT, man. I like I said yesterday, shout out to ADD Dad. I don't know what we did to deserve you, Golden, but we are sure happy we have you, man. I feel forever indebted to you, man. Money man in town. Yeah, Golden is the money man. The shower is going. Shout out to the Panda Prophet. But let's jump in here and take a look at syrup, guys. This was a tapped weekly. We'll keep that off. So, yeah, we are losing our volume profile here. So this is kind of what we were looking at last time we looked at syrup. I believe it was maybe last week that we looked at it. Deviation above the high, acceptance back into the range. Well. You get to the POC, you get to the value area low. We are now losing this volume profile. I mean, you're definitely losing that 786 as well. Yeah, it's long gone. Yikes. Breakdown, retest, send it to 0. I'll tell you this. The next key level of support that I can see on the chart as of right now, unless you bounce off of some kind of like local support here and get back into your value area low at about 44 cents, I would say continuation to the downside based off of your money flow looks a little different here, to be honest. 6-hour money flow crossing over, 4-hour money flow. Yeah, 4-hour money flow crossing into it's pretty much the same thing. Like, money flow is coming out here. So unless this money flow comes back into the green in a big way, in a very big way, right? Because like even on Bitcoin, what we were looking at yesterday was, hey, sure, money flow is crossing into the red, but if we do see a push to the upside here, it could just be a lower high and a lower high on money flow, which would still continue your trend to the downside. And shout out to the premium Discord. Let me just to kind of show you guys this, right? As I was looking at this price action last night, this is, I don't want to show it because there are setups in here. It wouldn't be fair for the people who pay, but I'll just read it off to you. It said, Ayo, what's going on, Mafia? BTC was able to make it back to the POC. That 786 ended up holding up. Key levels of resistance remain the same. Market cipher B is pretty mixed up on the lower time frames. We still have money flow coming out on many key time frames, 8-hour, higher time frames. But short term, the 4-hour money flow is coming back into the green. could be a lower high, right? This was something we talked about on the live stream. You know, you have your high, you have your lower high. If this is going to continue trending out, you could look for the crossover into the red, and that would continue your trend to the downside. It's the same thing as what I'm looking at here on Scissor. Money flow comes out. Oh, it's back into the green, but it is a lower high, right? You've already had a nice crossover into the green with a massive move up. So if that crosses into the green, you are going to anticipate like, hey, maybe it is time to spend some time in the red here, right? So unless you reclaim this value area low with money flow coming up in a very aggressive way, I would say lower highs and lower lows could be more likely. Now, we do have a little bit of a 4-hour bullish divergence, potentially looking to print. Could that give you a bounce? Yes. But again, just like I always say, green and red dots indicate the ebbs and flows in the market, not the overall trend. So even if you get that bull div, unless you see this money flow crank back into the green in a big way, you know, you would be looking for a lackluster push to the upside, lower high, lower low, to continue that push to lower prices. And the next big key levels of support that I see on this chart, could you bounce off of some other local levels? I mean, you do have a daily down here that we can mark out. But money flow would indicate the trend is going to continue down. So if you do get a bounce here, actually, we already tapped that daily. Yeah, I mean, but next naked daily is sitting down here, right? So if you continue down and this gets the bigger drop, I'd be looking down here at about 35 to 33 cents. That's really the only key level that I can find. If I pull this as a volume profile, maybe you have a value area high here. Ooh, this could be interesting. Let me pull that to before the breakout. Let me pull it here. So, yeah, I would mark this out like this. You do have a lower, whoops. So, yeah, I can give you a nice little, there's your high, there's your POC. Yeah, you can't, man. I don't know. Listen, can you bounce back up? Yes, but you're back below your POC and your value area low here locally. There's no support, really. No support that I can find until you get down to the value area low, which is nice. You actually do have pretty decent confluence down here. Daily MPOC, daily, weekly, and you also have your value area low. So these would be the levels I would look at on the way down. Biggest level, 35 to 33 cents. And the way money flow looks right now, it definitely looks like you could continue that trend unless this money flow fakes back out into the green. That's what I'd be looking at. Ugh. Yikes. Let's see. Yo, shout out to Golden. Thank you for the super chat, bro. You're insane, man. He says, it's not me, Frankie. It's you. People like you online, and especially on YouTube, are 1 in a billion. You are humble and give out the best advice, never financial advice, for free every night, and your viewers don't know how lucky they are. Shout out to Golden, man. Thank you so much for saying that. Hey, we're doing our job, baby. We're doing our job. The goal with this YouTube channel is to create as much free value as I possibly can. So shout out to Golden, man. I appreciate you saying that, dude. And shout out to NW Crypto for getting a membership. He's like, I didn't get gifted. Screw it. I'm going to jump in anyway. All right, let's see. Yo, shout out to Panda said, how on God's green earth is there not more likes on the stream? Guys, hey, shout out to Panda. We literally give away money. If we get 1,000 likes, guys, I'll give away $200 in Solana tomorrow to one lucky CandleMafia member, and we're giving away 10 bags of ADA tomorrow, too. Let's run it up. Let's get it up to 1,000. Come on, baby. Smash that like button. Smash it up. Smash it up. All right, let's continue on. How is Sui looking? We could take a look at Sui right now. Let's see. Golden is right. I come here for the facts and a cool chat room. Shout out to Seth. Let's get it, baby. The Mafia is this YouTube channel. All right, let's continue on here. Let's take a look at Sui. It's about that time, guys, where Frankie's brain starts to turn off. All right, where's my Sui chart? Coinbase. No, that's not it. Binance? There we are. Okay, so, yeah, we're cooking here. We're cooking here. We couldn't get that full golden pocket retracement. Got the local retracement into the 786. So, yeah, I mean, I would say here, I mean, she's dumping. She's dumping. I would say next key level, still sitting down here, same level we've been looking at, anchored VWAP, which has moved up just slightly, so I will creep this up just a bit, sitting between 350 and 336. You have your macro golden pocket, your POC, and your anchored VWAP. This anchored VWAP is very important, guys. It is pulled from the low here. Time frame makes it a little difficult, but there you go. Yeah, I mean, yeah, pretty much 350. I mean, 353 at the anchored VWAP into your golden pocket. The bottom of that comes in at 337. This is your biggest key level of support. Even if we were to pull this local profile here. Yeah, deviating out of here. Taking a look at our medium time frame money flow. Money flow on the 4-hour is coming out. This indicates a local continuation of the downtrend with lower highs, lower lows. This is your next key level of support to look at on SUI. Lose this, you got a big, gigantic level of support here. This golden pocket is pulled from the impulse to the high. Your full golden pocket of this entire move up sits at about $3.11. And that is confluent with the 786 of the other fib. So these are the biggest levels I would look at, guys. And to be quite honest, yeah, I'll just give these levels to you guys. 350 to 336 is the first zone. You can't hold that golden pocket. What are you anticipating, right? You came to the high, get above the low, push into the POC, visit the high. Reject the high. Next likely place for price to go is that POC. You have confluence on this level, so it's not impossible to bounce from here. But if you lose this golden pocket, where's the next likely place for price to go? Probably the 786. That 786 is confluent with the bigger golden pocket retracement. And if you had to deviate into the value area low, you do have that backup support. But I would kind of say the confluence here is on the golden pocket and the 786 here. And then I would say honorable mention at the value area low at 290. So watch 350 to 336. Hopefully we don't have to break down below it. If we break down below it, I'm looking down towards 315 to 303. And money flow would be looking to continue the trend to the downside. And I believe we looked at this. Did we look at this yesterday? I think we had the daily bear div. Yeah, you had the daily bear div here at the high to call for that move down. And there you go. Absolutely popping to the downside. So there you go. All right. Let's see. Yo, Bait says, you never sent me that $200. Let's see. I come here to see Jesse in Vegas talk about liquidity. Or liquidity. All right, let's see. Shout out to ADD Dad says, thanks, Frankie, for Tesla TA yesterday, dropping exactly as you predicted. Shout out to ADD Dad. Let's go, man. Hey, guys, we're looking to hire someone who will brag about our calls publicly because I hate doing it. I'm just kidding. All right, let's see. Let's take a look at Tesla. We took a look at this yesterday. Let's go, baby. Let's go. So, yeah, we had our value area high sitting here, and she's pushing down into that value area high. Let's go. Shout out to ADD Dad. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go. We don't even look at stocks. Sometimes we go out of our comfort zone here to look at the stonks, and once in a while we get it right. Let's go. Yo, Elon Musk in the chat. What is going on, Elon? Good to see you. I didn't get the $2.6 billion you were supposed to send me. If you could just just wire it again, I would greatly appreciate it. Shout out to Elon Musk. What is going on? Welcome in. BTC going up. BTC going up forever, baby. Michael S. said, look at Band. Let's take a look at Band. Okay, well, I don't know where this fib. This is super old. Hilariously enough, we're sitting right at that 786, but this is not the right fib. So let's see here. Yeah, I mean, this thing is kind of in price discovery to the downside. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I can really give here is the value area, $1.30 at the value area low, POC at $1.43, and the value area high at 222. This is the only profile that I can really pull. As far as key levels, let me see if I can pull. You do have a weekly down here. Take a sip of this black coffee while I'm doing this. You guys just saw it. Multitasking. Unbelievable. You got a weekly down here. You got a no monthly. You have a daily right hither. You actually have another daily right here. And then you have a daily here. And you have a daily. I'm going to consider that tapped. All right, so you do have a little confluence here. Daily, 2 dailies and a weekly. I mean, this thing's just been... let me make this blue for support. From the low to the high. 786, daily, weekly. This would be a big level of support. You don't bounce here. I mean, I would say, honestly, you have your golden pocket here as well. I'll zoom in a little bit in a minute. So probably just pull this like this, right? So, yeah, you have your golden pocket 786. You really don't want to lose the 786, right? Could you bounce off the golden pocket? Yes. If you lose the golden pocket, 786 is expected, but you really want to bounce here. I would honestly look at this as your biggest key level of support. If you lose the 786, I'd be okay with a wick down into the daily and the weekly. However, right, like if you don't like SFP that 786 and it's just dangerous, right? Because like you don't really want to stick below this 786 for too long because that would call for a break of the low and a new all-time low to come in, at least based off this chart that we're looking at right now. Taking a look at market cipher B, not that this, regardless of what this looks like, I mean, your daily money flow crossover into the green is pretty nice. Probably bouncing off the golden pocket from the impulse right now. Yeah, or not bouncing, but tapping. So, yeah, if you don't bounce from where we're at right now, I would definitely be looking down here to about 62 to 56 cents. And then if you break that 786, looking down to the daily and the weekly. But, yeah, I would say other than that, kind of hard to pull anything else from this like aggressive downtrend. These are your key levels of support. Don't want to lose the 786 unless it's a wick and you get saved by that weekly and the daily. Very, very. But overall, right, if you cannot reclaim that 786, I'm looking for a break of that low. And then it's very, very hard to tell you exactly where price will go after that. Unless I pull up the extension tool, right, or the extension levels. I would say the next extension level is sitting pretty much at 43 cents, right? So you can maybe have this as an honorable mention. Hopefully you don't have to see that, but this actually is looking somewhat different than a lot of the other charts. Let's see, 4-hour money flow crossover into the red. So, yeah, watch that support. You're hoping for a higher low and a continuation up. And that is not possible, right, based off the daily money flow. But 4-hour looks like it wants to continue down. So you're praying that you can hold this key level of support. Shout out to Michael S. Hopefully this helps you out. But that's what I'd be looking at. I'm like really tempted to try to pull a range here. Yeah, it's just not that clean. There's a little deviation below the low, but you front run the value. It's not the cleanest. Pull it to here maybe. That's a little bit better. So you could kind of keep this just for context. The volume profiles really help you with context, right? It's like it lets you know like where you are. It's like, hey, you deviate from, or you hit the value, you get below the value area low, you flip this, you look for the fill to the high. Reject the high, break down below the POC, can't get out, you're looking down towards the value area low. So this actually is pretty nice context for the confluence we have down here on the golden pocket 786. So there you go. This is where I'd be looking for a bounce. Daily money flow could call for a higher low and a higher high. If you don't get that, not very good, to be honest. I'd be looking for a new low to be made. 43-cent extension level. So there you go. Let's see. Gala. Shout out to Albert. We'll take a look at Gala. We have not taken a look at Gala in quite some time. Let's see here. We haven't taken a look at Gala in forever. I mean, I'll just give you the general kind of high time frame analysis here. So I don't know what this is. What is this line? I guess, we were looking for potentially a liquidity sweep here. Dang, look at that front run. Talk about getting scammed out of a potential long that you would be looking for. But you're within your volume profile here. I mean, this is your bear market range for Gala. If you believe in Gala, I'll be honest. If you believe in Gala and you think that you're going to see some kind of a pump, unless you think alt season's not happening, then obviously negate what I'm going to say. But, I mean, here's your bear market range. This is the 2022 bear market range. If you believe in Gala and you think there's an alt season coming, I don't know how much lower you want this to go, right? Man, this is kind of making me want to accumulate some Gala. I don't hold Gala this cycle. I don't believe. I hold a lot of stuff. But 2-day money flow crossing into the green. I mean, I would say until you lose this value area low, you're in pretty good shape, right? Do we have confluence on that value area low with our fibs? We do. So I would say you don't really want to lose this 786 value area low. Once you start breaking out of this value area low, you might be able to put in, right? Because if you're looking, if you're looking for a higher low and a higher high, you're hoping to hold at least that 786. Once you break below that 786, you're looking for a new low to be made. at 0.009. I'll leave it there, right? You're coming into key support. Daily money flow is trying to stay in the green here for its life. It's like barely holding on. But that's where you're hoping for the higher low. If you lose that 786 and you can't reclaim, maybe you bounce off the value area low. But if you can't hold this, I would be looking for a new low to be made for Gala personally. Right? Reject. Boom. I'd be looking down towards 0.009. But hopefully you can put the higher low in, because based off the volume profile, you get above the low, you're looking to begin your journey to that POC. So that's what I would look for. Lose the 786, look for the drop down to 0.009. 4-hour money flow coming into the red, right? So again, continuation here locally would be lower high, lower low. I'd have to look for lackluster retracements for lower highs and continuations down. So there you go. That's what I'd be looking at. But again, you're looking for long-term accumulation, in my opinion, right? If I were looking to buy Gala, right, I would see this as an opportunity. Because I personally think alt season will come. If I believed in Gala and I wanted to hold it as a project, I would not be, greedy waiting to buy the exact bottom, right? Even if I were to dollar cost average and we do break down, I would just dollar cost average. So there you go. But let's see. How long have we been going for? Wow, guys. Not going to lie. I said I was doing I'm never, ever going to say I'm going to do a short stream ever again, because believe it or not, it's not a troll. It's not like for engagement. It is literally I have important stuff that I have to do, and I just get stuck here with the Mafia, and who could blame me? We have the best crypto community on YouTube. But I do have some stuff that I have to do. So with all that being said, guys, I'm going to hop out. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We started a little earlier today because we were dumping. And I'm going to try to hop on some random earlier lives as well if price is moving. So make sure you have notifications turned on in case we do put up emergency live. Sorry, I'm looking at the Bitcoin chart. I will just pull this up very briefly here, guys. I mean, we're losing the 786. If we cannot reclaim this, I would say my bias here based off money flow would still be for a continuation to the downside. And maybe even if I pulled this one. Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible to bounce off this 786 again, but it's not common, right? Typically, if you're going to put in your high, your low, your high, your higher low, and then send it to another high, that would have been the bounce, right? But we have now eaten all this back up, which is not the best sign in the world. So break down below this $116,000 golden 786. That's where we're looking down towards that $114,000 level. I am holding that small short. It's not going to pay me out as much as I would have liked, but at least I am covered for some kind of a move to the downside. But with all that being said, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you. Smash the like button on your way out, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time. Shout out to Ann says, well, you spoke so fast, I count that as a 4-hour stream. Let's go. But I'll see you guys tomorrow, same place, same time. You know the rest. Hasta pasta. I'm not going to run a fake out tonight, so I'll see you tomorrow. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong!
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming on my landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, and we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't ever going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll. Ayy, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the road, here we go, here we go.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll.